Hello and welcome to part 3 of me reading book recommendations that I have created from a list for each individual character for Critical Role Campaign 4. And as we spun on last episode, which was a while ago, I'm so sorry for the wait, but as we spun for the last episode, we'll be starting this reading vlog, reading my Tayor pick. And like I also have mentioned in my previous video, I will be holding all in-depth recommendations for the next video that I upload, just because reading vlogs get really long. I talk a lot. So thank you for being here. I hope you have a good time, and I will see you a little bit later. Hello. I wanted to quickly get on and let you guys know that I have started the Ashes of the Sun. This is the same author who wrote what's it called? How to Be a Dark Lord or Die Trying, that video game time loop book that it was had very crude humor. Such a very different tone from this book. It does not feel like the same author whatsoever, which is really intriguing to me. I'm liking the setup. We're following two siblings in the same timeline. The first prologue was kind of the backstory, where the younger sister, who's had a lot of health problems, was being taken away and going to the church going to the church, and is going because she's so sick, when in reality it seems like she has magical abilities that they want to harness in some way, shape, or form. And then her older brother, by 2 or 3 years, had to watch the incident and tried to protect her and step in and stop this from happening because she was crying and it wasn't good. And so now he has a permanent scar on his face. And so they haven't seen each other since. And now we're following both of their perspectives as they're teenage young adults, and we're getting to know the people who they are meeting along the way, as well as learning that they are on opposite sides of this civil war, which I think is just a really interesting dynamic. Feels very Tayor, although as time has gone on, I think initially this felt more like a good Tayor pick. As the season has gone on, the campaign's gone on, and we've seen more of the soldiers table, it does seem like Sid might be good. More good than we initially thought. It seems like he might be captive and held against his will. But initially it felt very much like Sid and Tayor were on opposite sides of the rebellion. And that's why this book kind of spoke to me when it came to Tayor. Plus it's a war is happening, there's battles, there's tough and gruff soldiers of the sort. So I do still think that it is somewhat fitting. I think it's maybe not the most perfect fit book for Tayor, but I am liking it so far. I think the writing is really good. I wish that we had dual narrators, but I'm still liking the voice. And I don't really have a whole lot more to say so far. I feel like we're establishing a lot of world building, but I couldn't really tell you much of what is going on in the plot, where we're headed or anything. But I'm having a fine time. It's definitely a longer audiobook, but I'm liking it. So I'm gonna keep listening. I'll check in with you guys later when I have more thoughts and opinions. But so far it's yeah, I'm reading it. It's fine. It's good. Hello. It is much, much later. I'm getting ready to go get ready for bed. I'm getting ready for bed. It's very cold. I'm very tired. And I work tomorrow, so I wanted to wrap up my final thoughts for Ashes of the Sun, because I unfortunately don't have anything more to say. I think the concept is cool. I really like the character. If you enjoy your fantasy books with romance C plots, I would say. I wouldn't say that they're really a main focus, but it was definitely a part of it. I really appreciated having a sapphic representation in one of the relationships a lot. I overall liked the characters, I liked the story, I liked the concept, but I never felt so grounded in the world, and it could just be because I was listening to the audiobook and didn't physically read along. And I fear that it's one of those books that I'm just gonna forget, because although there is a balance between character moments and the action that's going on, I remember more of the character moments, but even then I never felt so tied to the characters that I'm gonna remember it long term. And unfortunately this is one of those series that my library does not carry book 2 and book 3, so I'm gonna have to go out of my way to get them on some kind of subscription, Audible or something, or physically buy the books, which I'm not opposed to doing, but it does kind of halt my momentum and storage space. The RAM in my brain does not compute the same way when it's I can't read the books. I can't finish the series, I can't continue because it's unavailable. And so there's times where I kind of start checking out ahead of time because I'm well, who knows when I'm gonna continue the series. So I felt like a bit of it was me. I will take blame for some of it. But overall, I think it's a really solid fantasy. I really liked the siblings and like the differences that they were on and how it wasn't just like a clean, easy relationship between the two. Like they really struggled when they did have moments together, and it was hard for them to like come together as one and like be a family unit, which I appreciated because it feels more realistic to have like so much conflict constantly, misunderstandings, not knowing how to like communicate, but also like how to act around a sibling that you haven't been around in many years because you didn't get to grow up together. I just think a lot of it felt very realistic character-wise. I liked the action scenes. I think this author writes action really well and it's engaging enough, but it's just like one of those fantasy stories that I was like, cool. I'm not a big Star Wars fan. So if I'm picking up on the fact that this is, in a way, based off the Star Wars magic system, it feels like a little bit less unique because you're like, oh, yeah, like the Force, like, oh, what's the word? Lightsabers, ha ha ha. Yeah, totally. So it feels more like a fantasy book with a few sci-fi elements specifically from Star Wars, which like, there's nothing wrong with that necessarily. It was just like really interesting to pick up on because I'm, again, not like the biggest Star Wars person. I've seen all the movies, not the newer ones, but the older ones. It was just like interesting. It wasn't what I was expecting, but still fascinating enough. I still liked it overall. I think it's like in the end a 3 to 3.5 star book. Like I think upon a reread, when I'm able to continue in the series and like binge the whole thing, I think I will like it more. But I think a big issue of just like starting a series knowing that I have no timeline of when I'm going to be able to continue, I think does kind of hinder my enjoyment a little bit as well. I would recommend this book to honestly most people. I don't see anyone having a problem with this. Like it's just like a solid fantasy with some Star Wars touches. It's just very interesting. But overall, I liked it. I overall do recommend it. I think a lot of people would get enjoyment out of this. I know that I'm kind of late to the game because this is not like a new series, but overall, recommend, and it was good. So that's it for me when it comes to Teor. I don't know where my phone is right now. So here's the screen of me rolling at a different time. There's only 3 characters left. This is who we're going to be reading next, and I will check in with you guys when I have thoughts for this character. I'm going to bed. Okay, hi. I got further into my book than I meant to without checking in, but it's chunky, so I think it's fine. Like, we are now 40% in to The Mask of Mirrors. This is by M.A. Carrick, which is 2 authors put into one. I wonder if it says on the back. It does not, but this is the first book in a high fantasy trilogy, and I have mixed feelings towards it. I have been listening to the audiobook, which is helping me not get through it in an giant spider, why? Not get through it in like a negative way, but helping me process everything and just kind of get through, because there's so much world building and detail, and it's very descriptive and lush, and I love the way that we're describing like the balls and the gowns and everything that's going on, the masks. I adore all of that, but there's so many different cultures that are references, religions, like so many diversity, I guess you could say, into this book, and it's so cool, but it's also a lot. And so the audiobook is really helping me not get too bogged down being like, do I have to remember all of these details? I think the purpose of it is just to make it feel like really immerses you into it, being like they have their own phrases and they all have their own styles and they all look different, and I do really like that, but it can also feel a little bit overwhelming at times. What is this about, you ask? I couldn't really tell you. I think Ren is like the main person that I care about. She's been my favorite perspective. What I can describe about this book is that we are following Ren, one of my favorite characters that I've read in a while. She is kind of a con artist, if you will. She has a hidden secret identity, and she is not who she seems to be. And she kind of very Bridgerton-esque, just this very historical fantasy setting. She kind of waltzes in and she's like, actually, I'm the daughter of this person. I'm kind of important, but not too important, and is making her like social debut, if you will. And the way that she is engineering the politics and the people to like influence in the way that she wants, delightful. She is such an incredible character. I agree with the sentiment that she is very like strong-willed and very like takes no shit because she is making sure things go her way, but she's also very kind-hearted and cares for people, and I really like the duality of her so far. All the other characters are kind of so-so to me. I feel like they're just there for Ren to thrive and to see how she's interacting with everybody. There's so many characters, so many cultures. I've mentioned it. It's a lot. But I am liking the overall like experience of reading this. I wouldn't say that it's like super plot heavy this far in, really. Like, we've had a ball, which was fun. With the masks and everything. And I really like the world building and the tarot and the rook and the rose
which is what this trilogy is called, there is definitely like an underlying C plot, B plot, if you will, of happenings going on that's kind of stirring up concern within the city of dreams. So there are like things happening, but it's not like the most forefront, and we're just kind of slowly getting to know everything. But again, like there's just a lot of detail in everything that I appreciate. But this is certainly more historical than I typically read. It's reminding me a little bit, and not really, but like enough, of The Crimson Moth. So if you're a fan of that duology and you're wanting something a little bit more epic and high fantasy and just like a lot more stakes, politics, world building, everything, but kind of put into I guess an adult version of that, I would say this, like this has magic in it. We're just kind of learning about it slowly. It's kind of a newer, not new to like society, but it's not like common in society. So I find that interesting. But yeah, I'm having like an okay time. I am going to go move to the couch and just like hunker down and just physically read along rather than continuing my audiobook experience now that I've gotten like my admin stuff done today. But I am kind of struggling with like, what's the purpose? Why do I care? Minus Ren being cool, I'm like, I don't know if this really is like the most exciting, because again, it's very character, politics, social engineering, and I think that's great. I think that's very cool, but it's also not my typical pace for a book. And so I think sitting down and just trying to like really get into it for the next at least 20% and kind of check in to see where I'm at, and hopefully I love it, because this was really a 5-star prediction for me. I really want to give this 5 stars, but I don't know if I'm quite getting that vibe, that feeling. It might be a very like strong 4, but we'll have to wait and see. Again, a lot could really happen in the next 60%. Like this is such a big book, so I'm trying to stay hopeful and have a good time, but I don't have crazy things to say yet. I don't really have any theories about it. It's not one of those books that I'm like, what does this mean? Who else has hidden identities? Who knows about her? I think that there's like some interesting breadcrumbs being laid out, but I think a lot more is going to happen now that we're approaching like the 50%. So that's kind of my early check-in for this now that I'm ready to dive back in. I will probably check in, like I said, I think in about 20-ish%, and then probably when I finish, unless like crazy things happen or I have things to say. But I am enjoying the experience so far, but I just don't have a lot of feelings towards it. But I'm gonna go make dinner and I'm gonna read. So I will check in with you guys in a little bit. We're getting a weird angle because I refused to get up and grab my tripod so you could be taller. So sorry. I wanted to come on because last night I read to 60%, and then this morning I finished The Mask of Mirrors, and I'm kind of like on the fence of how I feel, to be honest. I was really expecting to love this and had only heard like such high praise. Everybody adores this. And I don't think that it's bad to like this. I think that it's a great book. I think it's well written. I think that the structure is interesting. I think that the reveal and mystery at its heart was, engaging enough. It made you interested. Who is the Rook? What's going on? And when you get to the 50 to like 55% mark, something so cool happens. Like the whole first 50% is just like, I kid you not, social engineering, the political intrigue of like who is in what clique and how you can influence, how specifically Ren can influence these people to do her bidding. But again, she's got the secret hidden identity. She's not who she says she is. And so we get to the 50% mark, and this very cool catalyst for the latter half of the book begins, and I loved that. I thought that was so spectacular, so well done. I was so into that scene and the revelations that came from it and everything. I thought it was so cool, so well done. And then I feel like the book has a tonal shift after that where it's like, all right, we have a new focus. All right, we're doing different things now. And I think that's interesting. Finding out who the Rook was like, okay. I didn't feel like, no way it was that person, but I also like didn't necessarily see it coming. So I think it did a good job like on the mystery front. I don't know if I'm going to continue in the series. I have so many books that I'm reading that I'm just not sure where I stand. I feel like this is like a solid 4-star book. I think that it's well written. I think if while you're reading this, you're really paying attention to every character and their subplots and like who they're connected to, and you're drawing a character map, you might get a little bit more enjoyment out of this. There were so many characters that, listening to the audiobook, especially for the first 40%, I really struggled with who is who, what is what, and there's so many people that I kind of got lost in the sauce at times. And that's not the book's fault, that is a me fault. I do think that if I was to continue in the series, I think I would give some space between me and this book and then eventually reread it physically the whole way through and then jump immediately into the sequel, because there's just so many people. There's so much going on. And I appreciate it for that, but I'm also not a very big character-driven reader. And as much as I say that I like political intrigue in my books, I do also need a lot of plot to kind of maneuver through the politics. I feel like most of this book didn't really have plot beyond like going to a ball, going to the masquerade, going to tea, and like whatever. And I think that's cool. I think that's fine. I think I didn't have that expectation going into this, so I wasn't like expecting that to be what this is. As for this being a good Belair pick, I don't. Yes. Like, he very much is the type to be involved in the politics and the socializing, getting into people's ears and like whispering what's going on and what he needs them to know. He has secrets of his own. He's got his own hidden identity. I do think it's a good fit for his character. I just see the tone is so different. Like, Belair just kind of seems a little bit more jovial and interesting to follow. And it's not that Ren wasn't interesting. She was definitely my favorite perspective in character to be with, but I wanted the masks to mean a little bit more. If you like not fortune telling, if you like tarot card magic, there is a unique tarot system in this book that I think is really cool and really shines through. I actually have a page bound list of a bunch of books, mostly in the fantasy and horror categories, that revolve around like tarot magic and tarot card readings and whatnot. And I think it's a really cool part of books. And so I was really happy to have read it in this. I think this is honestly a masterclass in how to like include tarot into your plot and like make it meaningful. And I thought it was very fun and very cool. So I think we're landing at just like a nice 4-star read. This was very good. I have no like honest critiques about it. It's just my enjoyment was waning a little bit because, again, chunky book, so long. So I do think it's more of a personal problem because I'm still trying to retain a bit of my attention and focus when I'm reading, and a lot of shorter books are kind of doing that for me because it's easier to focus and like sit still through. But I think that's, a me problem. I think if I was to revisit this in the future, knowing what I know about it now, I'd probably get more enjoyment out of it. Knowing what I know now, being it's about the socializing and the kind of undertone of what's going on. And then honestly, I would reread the 50% sequence over and over and over again. I truly thought that was so well done. And I love that part so much. But yeah, I am not like the biggest mystery person. I'm not a big historical person. So it was already like doing interesting things for me that are kind of out of my comfort zone. I do think that, not Gideon the Ninth. Gideon is the character in Crimson Moth who makes her dress. But I do think that's still like a decent comparison to this. And overall, I had a solid time. It was good. So I do recommend if you're interested, if you like high fantasy, definitely had a little bit of that like Bridgerton feel to it. I liked that it's very queer norm throughout the whole story. It's a little subtle. I kind of wish it was a little more in your face with all the gayness, but that's just like a personal preference. I really like an out loud gay world, but it was like very queer norm and it wasn't an issue. It wasn't like a scandal, which I did appreciate and I liked it. So yes, overall, Mask of Mirrors, do recommend. Not my favorite book, unfortunately, like I was hoping it would be, but still a very solid pick. Good morning. I had spun for Thimble, and now I'm reading A Master of One, which I'm actually 40% into. I do apologize for that. I really haven't had anything to say, but also like the point of the book is also sort of just now starting. This is, let me actually read you the synopsis because I think the synopsis is quite fun. A Master of One by Jada Jones and Danny Bennett. Sinister sorcery, gallows humor, a queer romance so glorious it could be right out of a fae legend itself. A Master of One is a fantasy unlike any other. Rags the thief has never met a pocket he couldn't pick, but when he's... Hello? My voice. It's too early in the morning to read a synopsis. But when he's captured by a sorcerer with world-ending plans, he realizes he is in over his head, forced to use his finely honed skills to nab a piece of ancient fae relic. Rags is stunned to discover that those relics just so happen to be people. Fae. They're fairies. A distinct handsome fae prince, a too honorable Queen's Guard deserter, a scrappy daughter of a disgraced noble family, a deceptively sweet-natured prince, a bona fide member of the resistance, and him, Rags. They may be all captives in the sorcerer's terrible scheme, but that won't stop them from fighting back. And sure, 6 unexpected allies against 1 wicked enemy doesn't make for generous odds, but lucky for him, Rags is not generous. He's smart, and he has a plan that might just get them out of this alive. This is apparently a book with heist and intrigue of Six of Crows, which I haven't read, I know, and a dark fairy tale feel of The Cruel Prince. This young adult fantasy debut will have readers rooting for a pair of reluctant heroes as they take on a world-ending fae prophecy, a malicious royal plot, and most dangerously of all, their feelings for each other. I'm expecting a lot of drama between the characters. I'm struggling 40% in. I'm just listening to the audiobook. I've been really struggling with how many perspectives we have. I think there's 6 characters that we're like focusing on, and they haven't really come together very much. Like they're all still very much their own person doing their own thing. We're only just starting to see them really interact with each other to the point where it feels notable. And I'm not usually the best when it comes to fantasy with multiple perspectives and characters. I have a hard time following so many, especially right off the gate. Like, I don't know who any of these people are. I go into a book reading a synopsis like that and I go, oh cool, we're following a guy named Rags. And then we stop following Rags and I'm like, who are these people? What's going on? I think this is such a fun Thimble and also Belair pick because fae, relics, who are actually like sentient beings slash fae themselves. I really struggled with finding fairy books for women that wasn't romantasy. And I was really looking for more like fairy than fae, as in not the shape-shifting, pointy-ear, brooding men that we read so often in romantasy. I was really trying to get to like the roots of like fairy books, but there's not very many realistically that I was able to find or come across. So I kind of struggled with Thimble picks. I would recommend if you like the folklore side of Brennan's lore, where like the fae can take their heads off, and depending on like their mood, they either become thieves or they're helpful in the garden. Like that kind of fae lore. I think Savage Blooms, if you really like romantasy slash erotica by S.T. Gibson. But also if you like horror books, Knock Knock Open Wide has a lot of like Irish, Celtic folklore going on that I think is a lot of fun. So there's definitely books in that realm that I could definitely pick from and like recommend, but it doesn't feel very true to Thimble's character, who's a rogue who is really just in it for herself, grieving the loss of her best friend, and there's not a lot that I was able to find about those things. So I would definitely love some assistance with recommending some books for the Thimble fans out there. I truly love Laura Bailey so much. She's the voice of Totoro in Fruits Basket, which I did not know until this season started. I heard her do a voice and I was like, oh, wait a second. No way. And I was very impressed. She's an incredible voice actor. I love it so much. So yes, that's kind of my update though. I'm probably going to finish Master of One today at the office. I also should caveat that I'm not a big fan of heist books. There, for some reason, like there's a reason I haven't read Six of Crows yet. I'm not a big fan of heists. They've never really worked for me in books. I think that like the leading up to it could be interesting, and then it happens and either it happens too quickly or happens too smoothly, or there's like no hiccups. Like there's always something about heist book that doesn't fully work for me, which is really disappointing. So I'm hoping that this one will be at least fun. But I do also believe that this is setting up a series. So depending on how I feel by the end, that will determine if I continue with the series or not, which can be challenging with setup books. But alas, that is my morning check-in for you. I'll probably talk to you guys when I get off of work this evening and I finish the book. I'm tired. I went to bed at like 1:15 and I got up at like 6. So rock and roll. Off to work. Woo! Guys, I think I'm gonna DNF Master of One. I'm so sorry. I'm not a big DNFer, but there's something about 2026 that I'm DNFing more. I think because I'm planning to read less than I have the previous 2 years. So I want the reads to be good, and I'm really following like my moods a little bit more. But I think my biggest problems with Master of One is that there's too many characters for one narrator, and the voices are not distinguished enough, and for listening to this audio only, I'm really struggling. I think if I was reading along or reading the physical ebook something, I don't think it would bother me as much, but there's something about just one narrator for like 6 characters and all the side characters that's just not doing it for me. I'm not interested. I don't know who anyone is. I don't feel connected to anything. I literally set a timer and listened to it whilst I was falling asleep. I fully fell asleep, and when I woke up, I didn't want to rewind it and like catch up on what I had missed. And that's how I kind of knew that I wasn't vibing with this. I think I listened to 59%. I woke up and it was at 64. So I missed a chunk and I have no interest in figuring out what happened, which is like a good sign that it's like, it's just not going to be the book for me. And I should stop trying to force it when it's not working, which is unfortunate. Again, I don't like DNFing, but sometimes you got to do it. And I would like to read books that I'm enjoying. And I'm really excited, bam, for our next read instead. So I'm just going to swiftly move right along and pick up something that I'm a little bit more interested in, something that's going to be a little bit more my speed with some romance. I think it's going to work out better for us in the end, but I don't think this is a bad pick. Again, very fae. I like the cat with 4 eyes because it's better to see your enemies. I like the fae elements to it. It does have some of that like folklore, questionable, not all good. I don't know how to say. It's not, I guess, malevolent versus benevolent type of fairy going on with different lore, which I do appreciate overall. And so I do think this is a good book. I think it's fine. I think the writing is nice. This is written by 2 co-authors, so I think that's hard to do to begin with, and so like kudos to them, but it's just not one that was really grasping my attention. So I apologize for that. But I'm not saying don't read it. I think that a lot of people could enjoy this and find this if they like young adult, if you like Six of Crows, if you like heist books, if you like all these things that don't really work for me, it might be for you. So that's where we're gonna end with that. On to my next pick that I'm actually really excited for. I hope I love it. Backlighting, so not it, but I wanted to show you that I'm playing Town to City. This is kind of taking up a good chunk of my day. Whoosh. So I figured whilst playing, I'm going to switch up my audiobook because this makes more sense in my brain than what I was initially listening to. And I'm starting A Taste of Gold and Iron. This is my Julian pick because it's a bodyguard romance. I don't think there's any romance between Julian and Lady, what's her name? Sorry, big fan. But he is a bodyguard, and so it feels kind of fitting. I have a few recommendations. Here's a little sneak peek of the upcoming video, but I don't have a lot of recommendations for Julian. I don't know him super well beyond he likes to be a bodyguard. He cares about this house, the house that is now kind of in turmoil, if you will, and like things are happening, have happened pretty early on actually. But so with that, like, I'm intrigued. Oh no, I left my game running this whole time. Wait, pause. Everyone's probably so mad at me. Wow! Town to City, by the way, is a city cozy. Cozy. So cozy. You can probably hear the music in the background because I didn't think to turn off the sound for this clip. My bad. I'm a mess. What I was saying is Town to City is a cozy town management builder situation. Very fun game. I'm loving it. I've been having a great time. It's still in like its early access, so they're still like making updates to it. It's only available on Steam for PC, but I do recommend if you like cozy games, city building kind of games, fun time. So my plan is I would love to get some filming done today. That'd be the big dream and goal. So I need to stop myself from playing this because I can play it all night, but I should do that later when I don't have like things to do. So I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna shift gears, but I'm gonna play a little bit longer. I'm gonna set a timer though. So I'm gonna listen to my audiobook for no more than an hour. I'll set a timer in Libby, so it'll go off immediately when my gaming time is up so I can switch gears. But I'm excited to see more about Julian and his role and everything and how it's going to influence him. He's got like one goal in mind right now, which is just keep Lady Aranessa. Oh, did it come to me? Safe. That's like the big thing. He seemingly has some rough relationships with Taisha, and so I'm interested to see more of that. And like he's kind of getting along with Valus, but not really. Like I'm so pumped for the Seeker's Table in general. And so yes, that's my Julian pick. I don't have a lot for him. Most of them that I do have for him are bodyguard related. What can you do? So yes, that's my little update that I'm starting the book. That's it. I don't actually know what this is about. It's about a prince and a bodyguard, I believe. Wow, crazy. A place in your home, a place in your hearth. Cadu, the shy prince of Arras, finds himself at odds with one of the most powerful ambassadors at court, the body father of the queen's new child, in an altercation that results in his humiliation. To prove his loyalty to his queen, his sister, Cadu takes responsibility for the investigation of a break-in at one of their guilds with the help of his newly appointed bodyguard, the coldly handsome Evermere, who seems to tolerate him at best. In Arras, where princes can taste precious metals with their fingers, and myths run side by side with history, counterfeit is heresy, and a conspiracy they discover could cripple the kingdom's financial standings and bring the city about its ruin. I truly knew none of that. I didn't really know what this was. I know that it is, I guess, fantasy romance. So we'll see. I'm hoping for the best. This is one of the picks that I'm actually excited for, and I'm hoping is a big win for me. I mentioned it in the last clip too, when I DNF'd the last book. So I'm really hoping that this one like sucks me in and I'm interested and I love the characters. I've had some success with audiobooks lately, so I think it's no longer a me problem. I do think it's sometimes the book problem. So I'm hoping this one works for me and I love it. Just kidding. I fully lied to you. All done. I played Town to Cindy this whole time. It is now 9 p.m. Whoops. I did set a timer and I said 45 minutes simply was not enough. And there went my day. Return early. Look at me go. Woof. Okay, so let's talk about my book, A Taste of Iron and Gold. It has a lot of fun tropes. I really liked the characters. I bought into their relationship and their dynamic and like their problems and the will they, won't they, the action of it all was a lot of fun. I am personally a pretty big fan of the bodyguard trope. I'm also a big fan of like oaths, marriage of convenience. Didn't know that was going to be here. I was pleasantly surprised. And then there was one of my favorite tropes, which is, oh no, the guards are coming, kiss me really quick. And, you know, you're making out in the alley and like they bypass you. If you like any of the things that I just said, minus maybe the marriage of convenience, I would say that if you enjoyed Paladin's Grace, you would like this and vice versa. They're very different, but yet very similar. And I think that if you're looking for a gay version of Paladin's Grace, this might be the perfect pick for you. I thought it was a lot of fun. Again, enjoyed our characters, but I never like obsessed over them. I liked the overall picture. I enjoyed how it ended. I liked the journey that we went on. I never like felt obsessed though. It never gave me like a 5-star feeling. It's definitely like a 3.5. Like it's a good book. I had a good time. I have no problems with it. And there was a lot of my favorite tropes for romantasy in it that I really appreciated, but I never felt so invested in anything that was going on. It was just like a solid read, which is like good. I need to stop feeling like I have to justify it 3.5. Like that is my average rating for a majority of the books that I read, and it's a good rating. So I need to like get over that. But anywho, I finished and I liked it overall. I'm glad that it was, you know, it had, again, the right amount of like action and tension. Not too angsty. It's not super yearning, but like it's enough. I just watched Kayla's Books and Lala's video with her swoon meter, and I might be stealing that for a future video. Stay tuned. But I would say that like on the swoon worthy of it, I would probably say that I'm like a 2. It wasn't anything crazy, which is fine. But it was a great companion for my town to city. My town, oh boy, she's huge. She's grown so much in 7 hours. Woof. I love getting obsessed with video games. Nothing ever goes wrong. I did remember to go to the bathroom multiple times, which like is truly a win for me. I get so sucked into games that never happens. Town to City, great game. I'm having a fantastic time. I'm pretty content with where I'm at. I'm at like 80% of the gameplay, but there's other worlds that I haven't touched, and I need to set my farms up so that I can transport the goods to this town to make my people happy. It's so much fun. I'm having such a fun time. But that is it for this book. So now we can move on to my 5th and final book for this reading vlog, where I'm actually going to read a book that I think kind of will give some of the campaign vibes, just like the overall setting of what Brennan has created for the cast of Critical Role, with having a world where the gods have died and what's happened after that and coming into power. I think it's a really interesting concept, and it's familiar enough in fantasy that I have like a decent amount of recommendations, but it's not that familiar. Like most fantasy, I would say, leans heavy into like large pantheons, like over the top gods and meddling gods that are like actively involved with like mortal society happenings. And I love when gods are involved. So it's very interesting to be picking up books that are complete opposite of like one of my favorite tropes. And so here's my little recommendation list, but I'll talk more in depth about them in my next video. But I am nervous about my pick. I picked a backlist title from Robert Bennett Jackson, whom I have not had the best chances with. I've read The Tainted Cup 1.5 times. It's not really for me, but I think that he's got very lush writing that I'm very interested to see, like, his previous works compared to, like, his new hit sensation. But I also have Foundry Side on my shelf that I've been so excited for, even though it's also a heist book that I'm not sure I'll love. I didn't know it was a heist book when I bought it, but I've been really interested in it. I've heard nothing but high praise, but I'm getting nervous with this author now. So, wish me luck. We're going to read The City of Stairs next. Hello, we're gonna try to beat my camera dying for this update. I have started City of Stairs. I am 35% in. I've taken notes so that I can try to explain the plot and how I'm feeling about this book towards you. So this is a fantasy where the gods that ruled this area have died. I don't know about the outside areas or what it all means, but the gods died decades ago, and the gods' main thing was they were giving power to the city. And now that the gods are dead, the city have lost that power and no longer are oppressing the, like, surrounding countries, and are now the ones, like, enslaved to the other countries and are, like, have become, like, an outpost, and it's, like, an in-between weird city. So they've, like, lost status because their gods have died. But, like, they're also not good. It's, like, objectively, like, I don't know what this book is trying to say just yet. I do have faith in the author to not be, like, apologizing for colonizers and, like, trying to excuse their behaviors. I think his world building is truly masterful. I think that he really creates an atmosphere that's just so enticing that I really do appreciate. I just don't care for his characters so much, which is the unfortunate part. But anyways, back to the plot. Gods are dead, and there are new rulers that are trying to climb to power because it's basically like a power vacuum, if you will. It's like, oh, no one's controlling you anymore. We'll step in. Like, we'll handle the problems. Like, we'll take care of you. And so there's a lot of people vying for power, and it's not good power. Power, I think, often corrupts people, and I think that's a very serious conversation in this book. The main plot really picks up because we are following this young girl who is currently a spy. She's on the prowl trying to solve a murder mystery. Her professor was offed, and all that we know about him really is that he was trying to look into the history of their city. It's like, I listened to the audiobook last night and I don't remember now. It's like Bolklava, I think. And he's trying to learn the history of the city. Since the gods have died, and it's been many, many decades, the now previously oppressed groups are now oppressing this city. And so learning their history is, like, super outlawed and banned. Like, you cannot learn about the history. They don't want you to find what was going on with the divinity and, like, relearn the gods or anything. So they don't want that. That's bad. No. He, the professor who was murdered, was looking into not only the history, but also looking into divine artifacts. And so that obviously seems to have something to do with his untimely demise. So she is on, like, a spy mission to solve the murder, like, try to infiltrate and figure out, like, what's going on. And I say this in a positive, non-derogatory way, but this book, The City of Stairs, reminds me a whole heckin' lot of A Master of Jinn by P. Jelly Clark. And let me tell you, I think just part of it being the setting and world building, and also part of it being the murder mystery of it all, they feel very similar to me. I did not like A Master of Jinn very much, so I'm so scared that I'm not going to also like A City of Stairs, even though I do think it's a very good comp to Critical Role world and campaign. Like, you've got a murder mystery. We're trying to figure out what happened to Hal's brother, and, like, how everything that was planned went so horribly wrong so quick, and, like, who is against it whilst people are vying for power after the gods had died. Like, I think there's so many similarities, and I think that's good on me for, you know, piecing these together. But the characters don't hit for me, unfortunately. I'm not really invested in their story and their journey and how the world is affecting them. I just, like, don't care about them, which is really unfortunate because, like, obviously when you're exploring such a well-crafted world where it's just so interesting, like, one of the world building pieces that he has is, like, buildings that are, like, mishmashed incorrectly, and, like, things that don't fit together are suddenly, like, put together, and it feels very Expedition 33 where, like, the buildings are upside down, and I really appreciate that imagery. But for some reason, this book feels a little bit clinical to me in writing style. Like, it doesn't feel very emotional and gripping. It just feels like this is a story. This is what's happening. I don't know if it's the writing style or if it's the audiobook narration or if it's just like my level of interest. I don't know what all the like main factors of my experience are at this moment. Hopefully I'll have clearer understanding later on, but like I just like don't care about them. I don't care. I don't care about her journey. I think the professor is really interesting, but like I don't, there's like a lot of more action scenes than you would expect in this where like they're doing like tough crime because like she's a spy and she's pretending to be like a low level diplomat, but also is like involved in like high action scenes where they have to like arrest somebody to interrogate them and like learn what's going on. There's whispers of a possible god that's still alive. And so that part I find interesting. Like, what if in Critical Role, one of the gods actually isn't dead and has like been in hiding? Like, that's so fascinating. I would love to see something like that. It's just like the possibilities are endless, but I just like don't care. I think there's a lot of like very cool setup for this book. It's just not been my favorite experience so far, but I can see so many similarities to Critical Role that's like, yeah, this is definitely a good recommendation. If you like playing Claire Obscure Expedition 33, like the imagery will be really cool. If you liked Master of Jin, you'll really get along with this one. If you're enjoying like just the ideas of Campaign 4 of Critical Role, I think you'll like this. I hope that there's more like pushback towards the colonization and everything where they're like, it's been 70 years since we've like colonized this land. Like, when do we just become residents? And I'm like, we are going to check this, right? Like, we're going to recognize that like that's not necessarily the right perspective that you should have, but like I'm trying to have faith with this author. So I'm going to keep reading. I might just finish it. I don't know. My camera battery is blinking, so we literally did this in the nick of time. So I will check in later when I finish, probably. Sorry. I hate being that one that has to come on main and be like, hey, I don't like books. But God, I have been struggling so much with City of Stairs. Like, I've finished it. And when I say that, I mean, I have been so disinterested in picking this up that my audiobook hold on Libby lapsed. Like, it got returned. And I was like, fine. So I got the notification that it got automatically returned. I went, shit, darn it. And then put it back on hold. I had 23% of this left when I finally decided to put it back on hold and listen to it and just like finish it. And even then, it was truly pulling teeth for me to want to pick it up, for me to continue in it, for me to just finish the last like some odd hours. I couldn't do it. And then top it all off, I finally make progress. I'm just like, you know what, I'm just gonna listen to it. I'm gonna speed it up so I can kind of just get through it quicker, which I know everyone's saying it. Sam, why didn't you just DNF? Because I didn't realize how much I detested listening to this. And I have so many positives for this. Just give me a second. But I genuinely had I had so many things that I just did not want to pick this up for, that I still technically have like less than 20 minutes of the audiobook because I found every possible distraction today at work. Instead of finishing the audiobook and starting a new one, I said, let me just check Dropout. And then after I finished that, I said, okay, well, let me check YouTube. Let me queue up a few videos. So I just ended up watching YouTube all day long because I didn't want to finish this book. That's bad. So enjoyment-wise, and just me knowing that I should not pick up this author anymore, like, he's just not the one for me. I've tried this. I tried The Tainted Cup. I can see all of the mass appeal. I totally get it. I want to love him. I really wanted to love The Tainted Cup. I've given it 2 tries. It just isn't for me. And I will say, Robert Bennett Jackson, he has some of the best world building. I think he has such unique ideas and concepts and style that I adore his world building. I don't care for his characters. I don't care about fantasy mystery plots. It's just not the book for me. So anywho, I don't think this is a bad author. I don't think people should not pick this up. I think a lot of people will get the appeal. My favorite part was truly the fuck you to the god. I thought that was great. I think there's a lot of conversations happening. I think there's good in this. I think at its heart, there's a good story. I just didn't care. I wanted to like this a lot more than I did. I think, again, a lot of people will enjoy this. I just am not the person. If you liked A Master of Jin, you might really like this. I do still think that these are very similar comp titles, but like one's dealing more with gods compared to the other. But I'm so sad it didn't work for me, but I did finish it after all. So like, kudos to me. I finished the book, sort of. I will finish the book. I will finish the last few minutes because I am a completionist. And there's no reason to not finish the last like 20 minutes. That'd just be silly. That is all from me. I'm gonna have dinner, hang out with this guy for a little bit. Gosh. And then eventually I'll start the next one. Oh no, this is the end. Holy cow. I'm so used to like this concept of like just keep going, But this was our final book. Oh my goodness. Thank you for joining me. He does not want to be on the goodbye. Thank you for joining me on this little mini part series. I do have more plans and similar concepts for similar IP, if you will, that I am interested in doing in the future, so stay tuned. I also will have my next video, I think Sunday, hopefully, if all goes well. I will have a full and complete wrap-up of all of the books that I recommend for each character, as well as the season as a whole, if you are interested in that and you know, don't necessarily care about my thoughts and opinions on each individual book, it's fair. But also, if you made it to the end of the video, you probably care a little bit. So, anywho, that is it for me today. Thank you so much for watching, hanging out with me. Thank you for joining this little journey as I got to, you know, soak in some other hobbies that I really love, aka just watching people play D&D. Super cool hobby, actually. Thank you. But that's gonna be it. I will see you guys in my next video very soon. Goodbye!